Hiya, friends!
Hello!
God. It actually turns out that I've been drawing every day for 3 years, or, well,
Almost.
in January. Let me have this. I figured what I should do is maybe make a video about explaining what I've learned.
Yeah.
Some things that could help you.
I want to know what you've learned.
I see all these videos of people saying,
I've drawn for a month.
get on my level. No.
1 month of drawing. I'm one of those people that's just like, no more. I have died.
Okay guys, so tip number 1, and this is something that I really didn't want to do, but Steph insisted on it because Steph was the one that actually sort of taught me the fundamentals of drawing, I guess, is to learn anatomy. And I know you don't want to hear it, but you need to hear it.
I didn't want to hear it either.
We're gonna have a real talk right from the get-go. Before you can like break the rules of anatomy, you need to learn how stuff works, like the hand attaches to the wrist and the wrist to the forearm and all that stuff. And there are like ways to make it a lot easier, ways that Steph actually introduced me to. There's books by Andrew Loomis. He's really, really good. I actually have some of those. I'll overlay them now so you can see them. He does really great books on the head, the hands, the body, the whole thing. It's really, really good. There's a YouTube channel called Croquet Cafe. They're really good as well. There is some nudity, but hey, it's to learn how to draw, so suck it up. And also, if you don't want to see like nudity and stuff, which is fine, you know, some people don't. There's also a website called Pose Maniacs. And that uses just like a 3D model that you can sort of just draw from. There's nothing, it just looks like it's made of muscle tissue.
And you can rotate those around as well.
Yeah, you can spin them around.
And some of them are animated, so if you like drag along on them, they do like little walk cycles.
So if you drag him.
Also, something I think that's important is that you're never going to become a master of anatomy. No one fully knows it. It's just about copying it enough times that it looks sort of like what the body looks like.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, the foot goes there.
Yeah, don't worry about getting all the muscles in the right place or learning the name of a tiny bone that no one cares about. It's just about getting across. If people can look at your drawing and see what it is, then you're on good tracks.
Hey, you're winning, basically. Yeah, that's
Like,
a good thing.
Drawing's a type of communication, so if it's communicating something...
Hey, yeah, you've won. You have won the drawing game. Congratulations. Now, another thing, and again, I say I've drawn every day for 3 years. You know, we would never expect you to do that and stuff. But again, something that
I haven't.
but something that I found is that, and you would have noticed it on the channel as well, is that your style is probably going to change as your inspirations and stuff change. And that's a good thing, because you might find, like, when you start your drawing journey, oh hey, I really like how this person draws and I'm inspired by this game or this comic or this TV show and stuff, and that's fine. But don't worry if your style changes. It's a natural, like, evolution, I guess. If you go back to the very start of our channel where, oh god, I wasn't very charismatic back then. But yeah, if you go back to the very start of our channel, my style was very different. It was very similar, I guess, to Steph's. And again, that totally makes sense, because Steph was the person who taught me all the basics and how to draw. So don't be afraid of change. That applies with drawing and also life. Change is a good thing. You shouldn't be scared of it.
Yeah, I think like everyone's art style is something that's going to evolve and grow over time. Because if you think about it, as human beings, over time you might discover like a new dessert you like, a new place you like going on holiday. You know, you grow as a human being.
I love how you can like tie in desserts to this. Maybe there is a dessert that you like. Now another thing is, and this kind of goes back to anatomy, but it could also be something else, I guess, is to not be afraid to tackle stuff that you know that you aren't good at drawing. Because if you can identify something that you're not good at drawing, that's incredible, because it's something that you can improve at, and it's something that you shouldn't be afraid of. Because there was a time where, I mean, I'm still not perfect, but there was a time where I just could not draw 3/4 faces properly.
Oh, a lot of people struggle with those.
Yeah. There was a time where I just couldn't do it, and this is going really way back before we even did YouTube, actually. Every day I'd come home from work and set some time aside just to practice the 3/4 things. And like Steph said, I would just look at references, look at artists that I really like, see how they do it, and just sit and practice and draw them, and it can be a little monotonous, yes, but with practicing anything, practice makes perfect. Another key thing I guess I should say is if you can make time for not just drawing but anything, if you can make time for it, you will get better at it. And that applies to like everything in life really.
Especially as well if you keep your old attempts, even if it's just photographs of your old attempts at work, and then having like the first and then the most recent and comparing the two next to each other.
Yes, yeah.
Because sometimes you don't realise like how much you've actually improved at something until you put them side by side and you're like, oh wow, I didn't realise I'd come along this far.
Exactly, and pat yourselves on the back if you do, because it's amazing. You are amazing. Now, okay, so this next one will sound kind of biased, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
Now, anime is a legitimate art form. Anime gets a lot of flack, right? It's like, oh, you draw anime, oh, you're not a real artist. Well, I've got news for you. All the anime that you see is made by adults who are legitimate artists, I'm afraid. So, if that's the style that you want to pursue, and yeah, hey, over time, I guess mine has kind of gone down that route too, especially over the past few months. If you find your style going down that road, that's fine. If you enjoy drawing it, you know, you're not hurting anyone.
There's been a lot of conversations about this on social media recently as well.
Yeah, there has. Like in the sort of really professional field, like studios.
Some art schools for a long time were very sort of anti-anime. My background wasn't necessarily from like an art school, but it was like a creative kind of module, and anime was sort of looked down upon then. At the time, I used to do a lot of like cutesy kind of artwork.
Yes, you did,
also
yeah.
on like the chibi kind of side of things.
Mm-hmm.
My university was really trying to push like semi-realism, painterly kind of stuff. And I was practicing doing it, but my heart just wasn't into it. So I feel like a really good piece of advice that I can offer to people is to not suppress like your interests or a part of who you feel like you are that makes you happy.
Yeah, especially if you're drawing something that your heart's not in and you're not enjoying it, it's going to turn out bad no matter how hard you try. The next one is quite a hard truth, but it's very helpful, and that is to stop worrying and caring about what other people think about your art.
Yeah, that can be a big one.
Yeah, because I'm speaking from experience here. The minute it took a little bit longer than a minute, but when I decided to sort of stop worrying about what other people would think of my art and stuff, like you sort of get a complex where you draw something, and this is more so common like with social media and stuff now. You'll draw something and you might be proud of it and you're like, oh, I'll upload it, and then you go on Twitter or Instagram or something, and then you see someone who you admire or a friend or whatever, and they've drawn something and you're like, oh no, that's way better than like what I could ever do, or maybe I shouldn't draw my thing, and you like throw it in the trash or whatever.
Oh no, comparison is never good.
Exactly. Stop worrying and comparing. You're going to be happier for one, and two, like Steph said, you then have like a reference that you can go back to and see how far you've come and what you've learned and stuff. It's very good. Like, don't worry about what other people think. And again, that applies to life, not just art, really.
Another reason why it's important to not like compare yourself to someone else is because every single person has like a completely unique journey through life. No one comes from like the exact same DNA and life experiences and friendship groups and interests, and that's like a special thing that each of us are very unique, and you should be able to embrace that. If you constantly look at what someone else is doing, you're not doing yourself much service, and that you're looking over how special your own life experience has been.
Precisely, yeah. Everyone has their own, and again, this applies to life and not just art. Everyone has their unique story, past, you know.
And there's all kinds of special things that you can put into your work through that.
Like, we're from England, so we could draw a post box or the Queen. You know, anything like that, yeah. But
cultures can be a really cool thing to draw from.
Yeah, we follow all kinds of different people from all over the world, different countries and stuff, and everyone's art is different, and that's incredible, and you can find that as well.
It's informed by different life experiences.
Exactly, yeah, and that's only a good thing. So yeah, don't be shy or ashamed of where you come from, because that can give your art a really cool, unique voice that people are gonna really love. And that's a really good thing, hon. Okay, now another one that I think's very important, and a lot of people have covered actually, I think, but I totally agree with it, so I'm using it. Now, that is that you should learn from, but not necessarily copy, the idols and artists and things that you admire and enjoy. So, say for example, you... I was going to say me, but that'd be really big-headed. Say for example that you really like Steph and Steph's artwork, right?
Wow! Hi, everyone!
Perfect example. Try to learn from Steph, and I'm sure some of you do, which is awesome. But also, try to find your own voice, I guess. Now that sounds kind of arty and stuff, but like, learn from what people you admire do, but then put your own spin on it, I guess. There's that famous term that's like, steal like an artist, and that sounds wrong, but I guess what the phrase is trying to get at is like, learn from your inspirations, then apply it to your own work, I guess. So like, if you really like how Steph draws animals, for example, you could apply that to people or buildings and stuff. Like, say if say if Steph draws like a really nice, oh god, she draws like so many things that are really, really cool.
Oh, you're just buttering me up now.
Say if she draws like a really nice dog, and it's really soft, and it has really soft curves and stuff on it, for example. You could do that to a person, or to a building, or to an environment and stuff. It's just sort of taking the things that you really like from artists you admire, and just applying it to your own work, I guess.
The way I see it as well is that, like we were saying before, how art styles are just sort of a mixture of the things that you like.
Yes, yeah.
If you entirely copied like another artist's art style, which usually, like when you first start out drawing, that tends to happen whether you mean it to or not.
Yes. Well, I mean, like we said, go back to like our first videos, my style was very similar to Steph's. So
yeah,
it's fine.
Because art's going to be something that evolves over time.
Exactly.
But the best advice I have for like evolving your own style is treating all the different things that you like and artists that you like as like different ingredients in your own recipe, and mixing it all together in this big pot.
Everyone's making a unique art cake, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. And even though me and Adam have come from similar art backgrounds, because he learnt a lot of his fundamental stuff from me, I do reckon that over time he's put like different ingredients in his cake that I don't have in mine.
I have a beautiful cake. Not to say that yours doesn't, honey. You have a wonderful cake too, but using the cake, it's a beautiful, delicious analogy.
Because every cake is special.
And delicious. I literally just thought of this, actually. Some people have a stigma around it, but there really shouldn't be. And that's that using reference is totally fine. I mean, when I was younger, and admittedly I didn't draw, but I had friends that did. I had people in sort of my friend circle, I guess you could call it. They were saying like, oh, using reference is bad. And that stupid phrase of like, you're not a real artist if you use reference.
I know. I still get comments like that on some of our videos from people who don't really know better.
It's ridiculous. How are you supposed to learn? Like, say if I said to you, go draw a cow. Oh, but you can't look at a cow. It's like, what am I going to look at? A kangaroo or something? It's ridiculous. I mean, I used a reference for this pose. I mean, and we use references a lot in a lot of our videos, you know? And the way we see it is that if you learn to draw from reference, it's going to add to like what's called your visual library. And if you're not sure what that is, it's basically like a library of pictures in your brain that you can sort of pick from, and it's something that you'll build up over time. But you're not going to be able to do that unless you learn from reference first.
Yeah, a common one is people struggling to draw hands. I'm speaking from my own experience.
Oh, same. Hands are a nightmare.
Yeah, if you're ever struggling, don't forget you've got two hands right in front of you, and take a photograph of them in whatever pose that you're looking for.
Yeah, or if you've got a friend or a family member as well, you know,
yeah,
that's cool too.
I presume they have a hand that they might be able to give you a hand with.
You're so punny. Okay, Skittle Biscuits has got something she wants to say.
I was just going to mention, kind of elaborating on something we've just been talking about. In my own artwork, I feel like it's like my mental process has changed so much along the way. and it's almost like I've ended up doing a full like 360 and I've sort of ended up back where I was. So I want to share a bit of like what's went on behind that thought process to see if it'll help any of you guys, because I wish I'd had some of this input like when I was younger.
Are we getting some bonus info?
Well, I got very caught up in trying to make things look photorealistic, I can't say it.
Anatomic and
We'll put it on screen. Anatomically correct.
Good job.
Round of applause for me. And when you get too caught up in that kind of stuff, well, it depends what your aim is. If you're someone who wants to do like really realistic portraits, then go for it. That's probably what you're aiming for. If you're someone who's going more so into storytelling and illustration and book illustration, you're never going to be able to recreate things the way that life would be able to. Like, say you're drawing a baby and you're drawing it either from reference or memory, it's never going to have every muscle in place. You're never going to get the light exactly perfect with how it would work. All you can do is study things as best as you can, and as long as like the essence and the mood is there, then that's a big part of it. And having fun as well, because if you lose the element of having fun, your work stops being fun as well, and it stops being fun to look at, and then no one's enjoying it, and that's not fun.
Who doesn't want to be fun to look at?
I wanted to also put up some examples of my old artwork.
Oh yeah, let's whack them on screen right now.
Yeah, so you guys can see how my works kind of went full circle. So it's like I was doing all this anime kind of stuff, and then I was doing all this realistic-y kind of stuff, and then I sort of went more into a cartoony style, and then I introduced the cutesy elements again. So it's interesting how...
Yeah, because your art journey's been going for like over a decade, really. You've been drawing for like a really long time.
It's really grown with me over the years. Like my earliest drawings were all of like my teddy bears.
Oh, and they're so
Hi,
cute.
bears.
Hey, bears. So guys, I do hope that you have found this at least a little helpful, because, well, without this one, I wouldn't be drawing at all. She's a very special lady. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and we shall see. Hit that like button. Like button nation. And we will see you next time for another doodle date.
Doodle date!
Oh my god.
Is that not the way to end this?
No! I do hope you found it helpful, guys, because you're very special, so. We love you. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.